can get whatever you need.
We're going to Champions one in the tower, not this weekend, but the next
You should
weekend.
ask for more.
I-
We're recording.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it's 5:06, we'll go ahead and call this workshop to order.
Yes.
Val, if you would call the rolls, please, ma'am.
Commissioner Snow,
Here.
Commissioner Curry,
Here.
Commissioner Illinois,
Here,
Mayor Penny.
Here. Today, we're here to follow up on capital improvement projects in the CRA and the general fund. Joe?
Yeah, so this was, after the last work session, I tried to assemble what I got out of that meeting. Plus, I added some items that are here already in the CRA master plan. So I wanted to kind of go down this list, and again, I guess my initial thought was that we would be able to try to tackle some of these things kind of in the next couple of months through a budget amendment. But at this stage, I think it'll probably end up going into the budget for next year, as opposed to trying to tackle it now. If we can do some things now, that's great, but I think for the most part, a lot of what we're going to talk about is going to end up going into next year's capital budget.
Okay.
So what I broke this down into the items that I got out of you for the CRA, and then in the middle, there's some items that came directly out of the CRA master plan, and then at the bottom, there's some items that we talked about out of the general fund. So I just wanted to kind of go through, and if there's stuff on this list that you say, hey, this is absolutely out, let's cross it off, out for this year. We'll cross it off tonight. And if there's something that you want to keep, we'll kind of try to prioritize them. So being that the general fund has lesser items, maybe we could jump to those.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of go through where we are and what we're doing. So under the general fund, the Ross Point Pier reconstruction, that is already in process through an ECHO grant that Mary is writing. So that we'll consider that a #1 priority because it is in process of getting done.
Yeah.
Same thing with the public works equipment. Some of that we can anticipate purchasing.
That's the stuff
That's what we
saw?
looked at last
Okay,
time.
yes.
Yep. We'll take a look at some of that stuff. And then a sinking fund for the fire apparatus. We talked about moving some money over, maybe $250,000, $300,000 into a sinking fund so that we could put, say, $100,000 in there every year, that in 8 years from now, we'll have $1 million.
And that's what we did the last time we bought this fire truck.
Not as much. but
No, we
yes.
didn't put as much money,
Yeah.
but
But that's exactly right. So those will keep moving forward on. And then the speed humps as a pilot program on Alabama Avenue.
okay.
We talked about that. Improvements to the YMCA. We did meet with the director today. We'll give you a quick update when I get through this. Stamped contract, that's spelled wrong, stamped concrete at residential intersections on Daytona Avenue and Riverside Drive.
Okay.
And then a walking path around Holman Park, a police storage building for confiscated vehicles, and then a bait shop at Sunrise Park South. So those last couple of items, they're kind of open up for your thoughts and discussion.
Can you tell me what stamped concrete is?
Yeah, when you go to some intersections, especially up in Ormond Beach, you come up to an intersection, and the center of that intersection either has brick pavers
Yes.
or stamped concrete that looks like brick pavers, or it may look like stone or something. It's a little less expensive than actual pavers, but it's a decorative design.
Got it.
One thing that I thought of on the general fund is, can we increase paving, road paving?
You can, but
Because it always seems like we'll never catch up. There's always
you won't.
the worst. There's always the worst of the worst. But if we
Yeah.
could get like the 2 worst streets in, that aren't scheduled for another 3 years, if we could increase
I don't
that.
have a problem with adding that to
Yeah,
the
and
list.
remember,
Mayor.
we have.
I know we have priorities.
Yeah, we're currently using the,
On again, off again.
the road and the tax,
Right.
the gas tax for that, and then we're using solid waste monies for that, and we do every other year. And then this past year, Joseph brought up the alternative paving product. We
Right.
haven't gotten a total package on that. You certainly could. I was kind of jokingly saying to JD the other day that the best traffic control for speeding is to have crappy roads.
That is true. That is true, because every time a road is paved, it becomes a, yep.
Yeah.
I do like the sign on Daytona Avenue now. This is Daytona Avenue, not the Speedway.
Oh, the speed.
It's the digital
Digital
sign.
speed limit.
Oh, okay,
Speed
yeah,
rating.
Yeah, and it's
So-
been turned around and moved
Oh.
a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, so we can put paving in there.
We're not-
The problem is how much do you want to put in, because 200,000 is not going to get.
No, I know, that's, I'm just thinking of, there's some areas where we have our contractor has cut the roads, like on Riverside Drive.
So you're talking about repairs.
Yeah, so some of the, like there's that cut on the south end of town that
500 block of Riverside.
we've repaired about 3 times, that's still not completely repaired.
Yeah.
And then there's one on the north end of town, just,
Is that the one right by the lift station?
yeah.
Yeah, we can probably do something to improve that as opposed to amending the paving.
Right,
program.
yeah, just like increase, and I'm sure we can find, there's potholes or whatever you want to call them all over the city.
All right.
Going back to the stamped concrete at Daytona and Riverside, remind me, was that down LBG?
Well, not at Daytona and Riverside, on Daytona or Riverside.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Daytona and Riverside.
Okay. Well, no, that's why I was thinking, that's why I asked if it was LPGA. I was thinking maybe it was LPGA and Daytona.
No, but up Daytona Avenue, some intersections there, or Riverside Drive,
Okay,
you know.
gotcha.
Kind of like, that was me that brought that up, but it fits into the idea like Deborah had about signage down US 1 with like colonial type banner signs. Is that what you're thinking? Something like Ormond has?
Yeah, that's
I'd
going to
like
be,
That incorporated in with that.
Yeah, that's
You could do
gonna be
that
on the
at our
CRA
intersections,
section.
too. You know, you could get, it makes the intersection a little more lively or whatever. You know, the colonial, I guess what do you want to call it, colonial signposts or something, you know, where they're
Yeah.
decorative kind of?
yeah.
It's a monument, that's what they're usually called.
Yeah, we'll get to that one in the CRA. I have that listed.
Yeah, well, I like to see it on Daytona Avenue, though. If we did a stamped concrete intersection, like our most busiest one's LPGA. And then you made that look like, you know,
Oh, and put poles on those corners too?
yeah, I don't know, with the flag signage. You know, and then a stamped intersection, it's just kind of like when you rolled up to it, it give you that feel of, you
Yeah,
know,
I get it.
whatever.
All right.
I think the most dangerous thing on Daytona Avenue is where there are not stop signs and there are on the side streets.
Not a four-way stop.
Right, not a four-way stop, because I head through those and slow down, and these people go. So I wish we could have stop signs on every street instead of that.
We can talk about that,
Okay.
but that's not quite capital stuff.
Okay, got it.
Try to stay.
Keep me focused.
Yeah. Stamped concrete, the walking path around Holman Park would probably be a rather major project.
I think it's a good idea, that was JD's idea.
Yeah.
We have one around the 6th Street Park, is that 6th Street?
7th Street.
7th Street Park,
Yeah.
yeah. That's got a walkway.
Yeah.
like-
And there's people that use it,
Yeah.
so they probably would at home
Look
too.
like somebody's gonna walk it.
It's doable, it's just gonna take longer than a year between, by the time you get engineering and all that done, so it's not off the list, but I think
Yeah.
it's doable. I think the thing that's probably
Feeling
most,
tired and falling behind? Stress and toxins can slow you down.
Sorry.
And your body feels.
$10 fine still.
oh, I'm interested. And really the one that I think is probably the most questionable is the bait shop at Sunrise Park. I think it's a great idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
But that gets into, not only do you have to then put the building in, then we have to contract out a third party to manage it.
Right.
So, you know, if you want, we'll keep it on there, and we'll work on getting some pricing and estimates.
Can we talk to the guy who does the ornament?
Yeah.
Ike Leary.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Ormond about it and just how they handle it, and basically, so it's Ormond's building, it's the City of Ormond Beach's building,
Right.
and they actually share utilities because the restroom, public restrooms are now attached to that, so it's both the restroom for the paint shop and for the public. But yeah, they have a man in there that owns the business inside there
Right.
and pays for, all the business related to inventory and, you know,
Yeah.
everything that's in there, so.
Like
He runs it as his own business.
Yeah,
Does he pay
he's a,
rent or lease or?
Yes.
is it his
He
own?
pays, yeah, he pays rent.
He's been there forever.
he has,
Yeah.
I love his two hot dogs and a chip steel, yeah.
You want to talk about the why?
Yeah, well, we had a really good meeting with the Y. Chris Silcott's the CEO of the Y. And talking about the Y is stepping up to the plate, he wants to do some major capital investments in Holly Hill. They realized that we felt overlooked for several years, and they've heard it. There's a benefactor that is doing some estate planning, is going to donate $1.5 million to the Y.
Wow.
Joe Petrock, you may have heard that name.
Yeah.
And so talking about potentially, this is all pie in the sky, right? So
Right.
anything is possible. Talking about potentially naming rights, naming the facility the Joe Petrock YMCA.
Wonderful.
Give him $1.5 million. we'll name it.
Sure.
But using he's a professional fundraiser, and partnering with him and Charlie Leidecker, who is a lifelong swimmer, and the YMCA in Ormond bears his family name. We're putting those two guys together and using the $1.5 million that Petrock's going to donate as a matching incentive for other people in the community to step up. We talked about all kinds of possibilities. Now, this is where it might get a little tricky, is that if the Y were to apply for certain grants, they have to have actually ownership in the building. There has to be some collateral. So the ask is that potentially the YMCA takes ownership of the building. The YMCA invests the capital into the building.
Right.
The city would still own the land under the building
Okay.
and would lease it to them for $1 a year. And really, people will say, well, you're giving things away, but really, we're giving away the maintenance that we don't have to spend anymore. We're giving away the electricity bill that we don't have to spend anymore. We're giving away the $55,000 that we pay in supplements to the salaries over there anymore. So if you look at it,
And they gain the ability
then
to
they gain the
borrow
ability,
against it.
because the problem with Petrock's donation is it doesn't come about until it dies.
Right.
But if it's set up that it is a locked-in gift, then they can use that as leverage and they can actually borrow money. There are certain tax credits that low-income municipalities or organizations can qualify for, and then they would get the tax credits. The Y would get the tax credits and then sell those credits to businesses. And it's a lot of moving parts. And
Sure.
so we're looking at potentially maybe relocating the Boys and Girls Club to the elementary campus. Joe and I just were talking about that this past week. And if the Boys and Girls Club were to relocate to the elementary school campus, then that opens up all kinds of parking over there. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of lines that would have to
That's
be
just the
drawn.
thought that
Yeah.
we have not discussed with the Boys and Girls
No.
Club, and just
Yeah.
an idea that we threw out there.
Yeah, so we're at the 100,000-foot level with this thing and just trying to wish. One wish is making the pool 3 feet longer so that we could actually have competitive swimming there. So there's all kinds of possibilities, and this was more like a dream session and a potential session. No promises, no commitments on either side. But so.
One of the complaints we've always had about the Y, like the mayor said, is the pool is a couple feet short of being able to be used as a swimming training center.
Right.
And Don Lusk at the time, the manager at the time, he was the person who built that. And he intentionally made it short because he didn't want the high schools and the colleges coming here to use the pool. He wanted it to be solely for the community kids. But as a result of that, our local
But
kids
some of
don't get
those
to
might
use-
be
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. So that's the reason why. If anybody says, you made a mistake, you screwed it up. No, Don wanted it to be strictly a community pool, and that's why it's like that.
So more to come on that. They were going to research some drawing and engineering and stormwater and parking requirements, and So,
Now, the Boys and Girls Club don't pay for the after-school programs to the Y.
No,
no, they're totally separate. They're totally separate.
I thought they took advantage of this.
Well,
program.
sometimes they do use the Y in the pool, and the Boys and Girls Club pays a fee to do that. But the Boys and Girls Club, we are the flagship of the Lucia Flagler. It's the first one, the Rossmeyer Family Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
And it provides a service in our community that is free if you can't afford it. My kid, Joe Sullivan asked my kids to go there, and I said, Joe, I can afford to go anywhere else. And he said, I understand, but your kids need to go here. They'll learn a lot, and the kids will learn from them. So I think I was the only person that actually paid for after school
Okay,
there.
all right, so
And-
it's not a big revenue for the Y.
No, it's not a big revenue for
Got
them. And the thing of it is that the Boys and Girls Club provides after-school care for free if you need it.
Right.
And that makes a difference between people making their car payment or their house payment
Sure.
or after school.
Yeah,
And so it's a great organization. It's been here for a long time. The building it's worn out. It was part of the original school. How old is that building, Joe? In the 30s? 100 years old?
That school was built.
It's, yeah, right around 1940, if I'm right.
Yeah, so it's an old building, and they keep patching it. So more to come on that. We don't know,
okay.
What the school is.
but we're just dreaming in a perfect world.
That's great.
That's where things begin.
So we might set some money aside as seed money for something in the future.
Okay.
So then we jump onto the CRA list at the top.
Okay.
These are the items that the commission talked about, was gateway signs at LPJ and Ridgewood.
Yes.
Where Murphy Oil is going, and we really can't do anything with that until Murphy Oil comes to the table with some ideas.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, we met with the folks at Goodwill at LPJ and Nova yesterday, and they're willing to put a Holly Hill entrance sign on their sign on the corner. So that's good. That's yet to be designed, but they're very excited about doing that with us.
great.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll just pencil that in as well,
Yeah.
because I think that's definitely going to happen. Complete the sidewalk at LPJ and the railroad. I might have copied you on correspondence I received
Yes.
from Lori Coontz at the county, so they've been aware.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with that, so that's kind of already
Did
ongoing.
they speak about any reason why that wasn't?
No, nobody said any reason why. I don't know if it was just
I
an oversight, if
remember, I
it was a
remember,
challenge.
my memory of that was, we have to pay for that every time they
We pay for all the improvements.
all
that
the
they-
improvements, and that
Yeah.
happens whenever they feel like it, basically.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
And they send us the bill.
Yeah, we don't have any control, they just send us the bill.
So what they may do, I would suspect that then they're gonna tell us, I don't think the county's gonna do anything.
Yeah.
I think that the railroad may turn around and say the next time they do an improvement at that intersection, they'll add pavement to that area.
They'll charge us, that was our that was what was in that meeting. They said it would be, and it was a pretty extended of a charge.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, 50 grand or 100 grand, I think, or something.
Yeah.
More than we would pay just to have that, the
Oh, I-
normal improvement. That's why we were like, well, we'll just leave it like
Can
it was.
any pavement markings or signage help?
There's no
with that?
pavement there.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm just, like bike lane around, or, I mean,
Well,
is
it
there
does.
anything?
The curves, like the sidewalk curves to the road, and then
Right.
it curves back on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can't
Yeah.
legally direct people to come into the road. Even though
I
that's
don't
what
know
they're-
why not.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, we are doing that in a way.
Yeah.
There's no signage, but
Yeah, that's what they're
sidewalk.
doing, yeah.
Okay.
Puts you that way.
And then various sidewalk improvements throughout this area district.
Yes.
And then I'll get back to the polls, but then mural grants, Becky, do we have mural grants in the program now?
So we already have mural grants in the program. I do have something else that I don't know if you want to talk about now or later that I'm thinking about putting in the grants, which is CEPTED, you know what that is? Community Policing Through Environmental Design.
Yes, I do know what that is. Denise Marquez is actually certified in that.
Yeah, and my thought was, I mean, that's a good thing, a good design to have, because obviously it deters,
Do you have that certification too?
What is it called?
No, I don't.
I'm familiar with it.
CPTED is
but I'm not certified.
CPTED, Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design.
Okay, I like that.
And what it is, you know, just setting up
I think that's what. Mark was
property where there's more lighting, where there are walkways that lead, you know, right to the entrances and exits, and limiting entrances and exits, and make sure you don't have areas where people can hide, and just
Okay.
smart environmental design
Yeah.
that deters crime. So
Okay.
my thought was, and we can talk about this later, is just if people are going to design that way, to have a grant available for it.
Excellent, okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Right.
And Joe, back to the mural grants, I think we were talking about incentivizing them more than they are now to try to get people to take advantage of them.
Yeah, we can change the details in the grant. Right now, it's 50/50.
Yeah.
You know, up to 5,000, but I talked to people about them, and people just aren't
Just not
interested in
interested.
doing
Where's
that.
the average out of like 5,000?
5,000, so all the grants right now are 10,000 except for the murals, the mural grant's 5,000.
And that's on private property, somebody's private property.
Basically on the commercial buildings that have enough wall space to make it look like something.
Okay, because we have murals we put on public areas.
We did
but
those,
That's
right,
done.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
And then the last thing was the decorative poles, which,
Yeah, but this says in the median.
Well, we talked about that, though, you get more bang for the buck if you put it in the median than down both
so if
sides.
I put one pole in the median, it saves me 2 poles on the outside.
And 2 flags.
Okay.
One pole, 2
Okay.
flags.
And if
Yeah.
I showed you Palm Coast, that's what they do. They've got
Yeah.
1 pole in the
Okay.
median and 2 flags. They have a light on theirs.
Okay,
And
I understand now.
there is electricity in some of those meetings, isn't there?
There's irrigation now.
There's irrigation.
Yeah,
There's irrigation
there's no-
electricity.
There's electric that we ran
Is
under
that
for the,
planned?
for illuminating
We
the
got
signs
a
in front of
large
McDonald's and by
grant. It was like
Publix.
800,000 or
That's
so
it,
for
that's it.
That's it,
15.
okay.
It doesn't
For
run down the
the
center.
trees and the landscaping.
Oh, okay.
And we put irrigation in at the time.
Yeah, yeah, all right.
So we'll continue to look into that. And now this, where it says the CRA master plan,
Yes.
these are the items that I pulled strictly out of the master plan.
Okay.
And we can talk about them. Some of them we're just not there yet. Some of them we've already decided not to do. Some of them we can continue to do. So additional landscaping on Ridgewood. You know, when we did the center medians, the DOT was pretty adamant, because this is, I think, the second or the third time we did median landscaping, that we went with a more hardscape and not so much the pretty flowers and the hedges and whatnot. So the
I
only
think it
thing,
looks nice, I don't know what else you could do.
yeah, so I'm not sure if we would do any more
Yeah, I'm not
landscaping.
sure any more landscaping would, I think it looks,
I think it's fabulous,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, South Daytona, I think, has palm trees along the ribbons on the sides, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So, and then trail connections, again, this just comes out of the plan, and the problem with trail connections is where they connect to are not necessarily in the CRA. So I think even Hallman, is Hallman Pond in there? Yeah, so Hallman and
Centennial is in the CRA and Holman's
Is not.
Right.
So that's going to be tough to do trail connections within the CRA.
So Centennial is in this area?
Yeah.
What about just an overhaul of that park? When you, I think the general public doesn't realize how deep that park is.
yeah, I think that's.
The homeless people realize how deep
Yeah,
that
Well,
park
we
is.
just got a guy that adopted the park, and he's been cleaning that area
Oh,
up.
yeah.
And we just put signs there that,
But maybe we could do something
I'm working with.
to help them,
I'm working with the Native Plant Society
right?
to put in a butterfly garden.
And I'm thinking increased lighting in there would be most effective too, because when we have big events at Pictona and they overflow parking in there, I don't think I would park my car on this side of the canal in there after dark.
Yeah, I'll add that
Not-
to the list.
Just, I mean, there's vagrants there, but also it's just not even walking. You know,
Right.
someone's gonna trip and fall.
Well, and we can introduce the CPTED into the park,
Yeah.
because that's the whole point, is to make it to where you bring in the people you want there and try to
Right.
keep the people you don't want away.
Yes, yes.
I agree, perfect.
Okay.
nuisance property purchase and demolition. That's a tough one. It's going to be very expensive. If you haven't noticed, LPGA in Ridgewood,
Oh, it's fabulous.
it's down.
I
Yes.
said, that didn't take very long.
Not at all.
It's down. It's not all hauled off yet, but it's down. We are still
Happy times.
babysitting Happy Time. He sent the permit paperwork in. Paperwork's not complete. He's supposed to be coming into town on Thursday. So, we're babysitting that one, but hopefully that'll get done. And if we can encourage them to do that, rather than us to buy up property to tear it down, that's a tough one to do.
But if we're gonna demolish it, it'll be on the next special master list.
The Happy Time,
Yeah.
it's already, what's that?
It already went,
Yeah,
it
it's
would
already
come
on.
before the commission.
Okay.
Yeah, the next thing we do is bring it to the commission.
Okay,
So
that's
we'll have
right,
to do a
it's
special-
there. Okay, good. Yeah, oh, I hate that place.
Affordable housing opportunities, that's kind of that's something that we would participate in if there's a affordable housing grant program and they needed match money for the tax credits. So I don't see that as being something that we would specifically get involved with.
Kenny
that,
type
right?
guy.
Exactly. Yeah, now, you have the opportunity at the Fountainhead property for affordable housing. So if someone comes to us, we can still look to fund it, help them with the match on that one.
Joe, I wonder, like, John Asher did talk to me today about possibly purchasing the parcel where the 4 apartment buildings were gonna go. The parcel on Third and Ridgewood, the 5 acres.
Where the Zen Living.
Zen Living was gonna go. So he's reached out to the real estate agent, and he wants to talk about possibly buying that piece and building affordable housing there, but it would be more in townhome styles.
Should we put him in touch with Happy Times? Maybe.
Oh, to combine.
Combine those parcels?
He is Happy Times.
Oh, he is.
On Ash.
Yeah. John Asher is
Oh.
he is Happy Time, and so he's looking at
Oh,
the
okay.
property next door.
I got it.
He's looking at the property next door and he can't even maintain
We
the
will
one he
not let
has.
him stall
Well,
us because of that.
I'm just telling you what he's
Wow.
talking about.
Yeah, that will not give him any breaks. I'm doing nothing any longer,
Right.
in my mind, yeah.
The next thing is the wayfinding signs, and like I said, we had determined not to do that some years ago. I don't know if you want to keep it on the list or not.
They
What is
keep
the- what-
mentioning
what-
something about wayfinding something.
I mean, it's, when you're planning a city and looking to make the city look better, wayfinding signs are just a normal thing that a lot of people do. But like Joe said, that they decided not to do it a long time ago. So
Yeah, I
there
thought we
are,
had decided not to do that.
We did, because it takes up a lot of visibility space that we were trying to get rid of.
Right.
Most people use their phone to get
But
to
it's
wherever
still
they're
in
going.
there?
It's in the master.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So it just takes up a lot of sign. We don't have that much. You got the YMCA, you got the Historic Society, you got the boat ramp, you got Wilson.
And we felt like it would kind of clutter.
clutter a lot.
We have
Take-
some of them already. We have some wayfinder signs. There's a couple out there, right? I mean, we have one on 13th on Walker Street.
there are actually systems of wayfinding signs. Daytona has them, they're
Yeah.
blue and they're pretty and they all match.
Looking for the aquarium or whatever.
Well, and I
And
think
they're terrible.
I think part of our-
Tilting and, yeah.
discussion, Joe, along with that was, people mostly use their GPS now.
Use their phones to get there.
Okay.
Then we had upgrade the transit stops, the Votran bus stops, which is kind of a mixed bag because they're nice to have, but they're the biggest collection of trash and debris.
And in all sorts of ways.
Drives me
I
nuts.
think it's an attractive nuisance myself.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Just hold up on that. Quiet zones was brought up. It's also on the list. And there's two trains of thoughts, those that go to sleep by that noise and those that
It's
get
just,
woken up by that noise.
that is extremely expensive.
It is. It used to not be when we first started looking at it, but it is.
It's about
I
300,000 in
sleep by
intersections. So if
that.
you want to do 3 intersections, we're looking at about 900,000.
What do you quiet them? How do you?
They don't blow the horn anymore, you have extra gates so
Yeah.
cars can't go around.
Yeah, so.
There's certain
So they're
requirements if
behind-
you wanna be able to do that.
Well,
So normally you get
takes
the gate that
so
comes
the railroad
down.
recognizes it if you do
Yeah,
a more safe.
don't blow your horn.
So normally a gate will come down to affect your lane of traffic. The
Yeah.
other way, you have gates on both sides of the railroad, and it's got a pedestrian gate that comes down on the sidewalk. So you'd have to really go out of your way to walk through it. And just because it's there, it still gives the conductor the option to blow the horn.
Right.
Yeah, if somebody's on the track,
Yeah.
Even if not, even if you have a quiet zone, they can still blow the horn if they want.
under
Not-
certain conditions.
I love
Under
it.
certain
Yeah,
conditions.
if there's an animal or a person on the
I
track.
thought it was up to the engineer's determination if he wants to boil it or not.
I saw a coyote.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, so that one's still kind of,
And before, well, I want to say something before we get too far got away from that one. The upgrading the transit stops. I mean, I agree with you as far as those, what we have there now. They are, because it's almost like a little building, not that it's a building, but it is
Yeah.
a refuge. What if we thought about doing something where it's just making it nicer without that there? You know what I mean? I don't know, just.
Well, there's a bench right by my office, and I walk to the post office every day and walk back. There's
It's all
so much crap.
Oh, I know,
around
yeah.
there.
But I mean, getting rid of that, getting rid of the little building, but wherever that is, make it more, I don't know, comfortable in a way that where you don't have that there, but it's more comfortable to wait for the bus there.
there are bus stop enclosures that don't have benches. They're designed just to stand there and wait for,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to catch the bus, I don't ride the bus often, but when I go places and we use mass transit, we walk to a bus stop and we stand there and we wait for the bus. Nobody should get to the bus stop an hour early. Just shouldn't do
They
that.
are running an hour now.
So, get there 5-10 minutes before the
The
bus.
mass
stops.
transit that I've ridden is like you're saying, you stand in a line,
That's
there's a
good.
sign there.
But I'm saying getting rid
It's
of
thinking
that
it's a
altogether.
contemporary.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about me.
Just either sit there or stand there, but make it, I don't know, maybe.
But you do that.
It's some sort of I want to say homier, something more of a comfortable design to be there when you're waiting on the bus.
We can look and see, I mean,
Where it's open,
Okay.
open.
I would
You
rather
can't
see a
go in there and hide
roof
or,
if it's
you know, or-
raining, just the small roof.
that's what I'm saying, they make just roofs
Yeah.
with no sides and no bench, and you just
Yeah.
stand out of the sun and
Yeah.
rain.
The one John's talking about, I go by there every day and there's somebody sleeping.
Nasty.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah.
Targeted parcel acquisition, that'll always stay on the list, and as we get things, we'll come back and do a budget amendment if something comes up.
Okay.
The Southern Hospitality District, we've talked about. In fact, Brian and I, probably, was it Nick or somebody back a while ago, we talked about that hospitality district down at the south end. The challenge with that is getting a developer to see that vision and get on board.
I think our new
Yeah, Frank down there.
owner in a grant at the retail is gonna drive the transition there.
It could.
Yeah.
If he lands a restaurant on that southern end of the building, I think that'll be the catalyst to getting other things started there.
And I've got some ideas for that Southern Hospitality District too, but I would love to hear what you guys would like to see there. Maybe not now, but sometime.
In that retail area.
Well, in
The
this,
whole area.
in this,
The whole
what would
area.
make the Southern Hospitality
Okay.
District would be that whole south end there.
3rd Street to
Yeah.
Mason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've already got a restaurant, we've got a bar, but just think about what else you'd like to see there. Because I've already got some things written down that I'd like to see there, so I can add whatever you guys.
Well, I had hoped that at Arena Grande, when
That's
it
a pretty
finds
cool
an
thing. You do it all
anchor,
the
it's
time.
an
Been there
pizza
since-
place.
Who's looking for?
I
My
know
wife's
he is,
grandfather
and
used to
there's
own it.
37 pizza places.
It's been there for,
Yeah.
it's a landmark place.
I want people to go in, sit down and eat,
Yeah.
a bar for later at night. But that pizza idea to me is just people got pizza on
The
everything.
guy that he's talking to, Rustic Dough Pizza from Palm Coast, they're more than a pizza place, they're a pizza restaurant. They have sit-down tables. He's looking to do al fresco dining with some outdoor seating. So this guy is not just like a, I don't think we have a pizza place in this area that has that concept.
Right.
You know, Daniel's got some sit down, but he doesn't have kind of the formal dinners that this guy would
That's
serve.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking, when I was there at the grand opening, they were talking about how much to-go business they can get from the hotels beachside. Well, if you're gonna have a to-go pizza place, we have plenty of those.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm hoping it's not that, yeah.
Industrial area along Carswell, I'm not quite sure what we're talking about with that.
Oh, along Carswell, this was just what I'm thinking, because I wasn't here when the CRA master plan was made, but on Carswell, some of that zone CC1 and the future use is industrial. So I'm guessing that's what they mean by that eventually being an industrial area.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
I'm at a loss on that one.
With both with the Southern Hospitality District and the industrial area along Carswell, their conceptual ideas in the CRA master plan to really set more of a plan or a goal, you'd have to include those in the comp plan. They would really become comp plan issues where you start to put in concrete direction, which would also inform how you want to budget toward those items. Because you're talking about now areas. So those things you would have to actually put together area plans, and they would be things that would be designed into the comprehensive plan. But I think what Becky and Joe are talking about as far as the areas being industrial in their future land use, but having commercial zoning, it's a good point in terms of making them more compatible for having an industrial, if you want to have just an industrial district. But that would really change the nature of Carswell.
But we'd have to first adjust the comp plan to do that.
Well, you'd have to really look at, when you talk about industrial, you know, and you're talking about an area that large, think about what industrial means. I mean, when you look in our land development regulations as far as what's allowed in industrial,
Right.
you're talking tow yards, concrete processing, you're talking really heavy industrial type things. Is that the
Do you
look
really
that
want
you
it?
want to have? And right, that's what you have to look at.
That's not something that'd be on the top of my list.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last thing that I had on there, and you don't have to do this, it's just in the list, is reestablish the CRA advisory board. We had one years ago. They approved all of the grants, which kind of was time consuming because we get grant applications and we review them immediately, where the business owners would have to wait for an advisory board meeting. They could do other things where they take these things and they provide you advice on some things. We've been operating this way for a long time. I don't necessarily think we need
The
to go
problem
back to
I
advisory
see
board.
is we kind of struggle to,
We were getting lack of participation.
yeah,
from the-
to
from the
fill
board members.
the boards that we do
That's the
have.
problem. That's why we keep losing.
So I think that would just be creating a larger issue.
Okay.
And I don't think a lot of people understand really what we can or can't do.
Right.
They have wishes, they have this
Right.
vision, but then you spend a lot of time educating them on
The Florida Redevelopment Association actually holds CRA board trainings every year. Did you know
Good
that?
to know.
Yeah,
No, I
they
did
actually have
not
one.
know.
You guys can go to it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not only that, but thinking along with what we recently got approved, we're not really going to need an advisor. We're very limited
Sure, we have very
in the
narrow
scope
scope
of
of
what
work.
we're going to be able to do.
I'll pull it off.
So,
Can we jump back to general fund for 1 second? I just
Yes.
had an epiphany. One of my biggest complaints that I get are our public restrooms. I would rather us have one robot-operated restroom, unisex restroom at Centennial Park that is clean when every person goes in there than a portalet or the 8 or 12 that we have at Sunrise Park. I think we'd be okay with 3 there that, you know, and I'm being a little facetious, but there are these restrooms you can go in Europe. There's 2 restrooms. One is clean. You go in and use it, now it's dirty, and the whole thing rotates. The other bathroom is on the other side, and now you go in that one, and this one gets cleaned by a high-pressure hose and a blower and all that stuff. And I know it's a little crazy, but I would rather have 1 bathroom per park that's clean than 8 or 10 bathrooms per park
They get destroyed.
that look like prison bathrooms that were just destroyed. And we can't keep it. I mean, if these guys go out there 8 o'clock in the morning and it's pristine, at 8:15 it could be blown up, and it's cleaned again, and then at 10:15 it could be blown up again. So I don't know what the solution is with bathrooms, and maybe the solution is don't have them, but
Well, I looked at those. They run about 250 to 400,000 per single
Yes.
unit,
Yeah.
depending upon how detailed you want to get.
no, and I know, but we're just at the 100,000-foot level dreaming, like what would be great. It would
Well, I
be
know we've been struggling with that
Because-
for years.
Going back to the bait shop, I went up to the bait shop the other day, I pulled in, and walk around here, check this place out. I went into the bathroom. It's a public bathroom with a porcelain toilet and a porcelain sink. I was like, wow, this is almost as nice as the bathroom in my office. And it was clean. And what Becky said was, when you got people going there all the time,
Right,
the people that you don't want going there aren't going there.
It's
right.
also managed.
No, I get it, but
Somebody's there.
I don't know, that's a dilemma. I don't know how to solve the problem.
All right.
Joe and I had this conversation, because at the county, on the beach side, there's public restrooms everywhere.
Right.
You know, there's all kinds of people on the beach side.
Yeah.
But they have so many maintenance workers working up
Right.
and down that beach, so there's people there a lot. And we hired a cleaning company to come at night, do one final cleaning and lock them up. So, yeah, foot traffic makes a difference.
What about a porta potty, I call them, the nice ones, but a company that manages the whole thing, like you just turn the cleaning of the buildings over to a company.
The problem is though, once it's clean,
Once it's clean, it's 10 minutes later it can be blown
somebody
up.
undesirable goes in there and they destroy it.
I don't know what the answer is, but
That
that's
would be
one
the
of my
responsibility.
pet peeves around the city. is
Cameras
the
and-
bathrooms. You launch your boat, you go to the farmer's market on Sunday.
Sunrise Park, they tore
That's
down.
part of having a nice
Really?
park, is having restrooms.
I just can't
In the
imagine
park,
spending
anywhere.
money for.
Maybe the
what
answer
you
is that we have to hire a
Oh, yeah.
Full-time
I say, take.
park person.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we need to hire a full-time
that's
park
all they
person.
do.
That's all they do is clean bathrooms.
Yep.
We
8 hours a
talked
day.
about that before.
We did, and we never funded it, but so.
I do like the idea of locking them in night though.
Oh, they're locked.
Are they?
But they break in and they sleep in them.
Yeah, they
destroy
break the
doors.
locks and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's all I have unless
Okay.
anybody has anything
Okay,
else.
I would like to add something. It would be my dream under the general fund to add in a mailer to every resident in our city once a quarter. A giant postcard. Here's what we're doing. Here's Eye on Water. Here's the literacy. Here's our school. Once a quarter, a mailing of a super large postcard so that the residents are forced to look at something and learn what we're doing.
Nice.
we used to have a newsletter years
We
ago.
did.
Well, the newsletter got politicized.
Got close.
But this is all an email. This is
That's
all.
right, now we do an email.
I get that.
I say
I
if it's
talk-
left to nothing but informational as far as
That's it.
what's not, because it did get political before.
I gotta tell you, every phone call I get is somebody, and I say, do you know, on our website, and I go, I don't go on it, I don't have we have an older community and a poorer community. A mailing piece gets to them.
We can look at doing that again. We used to do a page that was folded up in the water bill. And because I get it in Palm Coast, and what I do with it is I take my bill out and I throw it in there.
I don't even open it because I pay my water bill.
I don't even get a bill.
No, this is something that stands out in the Holly Hills community.
But
You know,
if you're talking about like a
postcard like this?
No, I'm talking about a 9x12 or an 8x10 postcard, a flat rate.
About 8.5 by 11.
Well, no, they don't do that. That's an unusual postage. That's an unusual postage rate. The post office has a program delivered at every door, and you have choices of sizes, which gives you a better postage rate. But even if you don't get that, no, when you get your mail, anything folded, I mean, no,
I
this
throw
should.
everything away that doesn't say first class.
And this, if it's this big and it's graphically pleasing and it says, I mean, the Eye on Water thing is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Every time I see the little logo for it, I think, and I ask people all the time, do you know about the Eye on Water? No. Well, it was on your water bill. It was in the email. It's in the, they look at me like, don't you get it? I don't use those tools. So I would just,
I'll take a look at what it would cost.
I just don't know, I don't know if we have to put that under budget. This is more capital.
Okay.
And I think that would be.
That would be more coming out of-
It would come out
Yeah,
of
that would be
operating
more in
budget.
the,
okay,
Yeah,
I
mean,
just
good idea,
thought
but-
where that extra
Yeah.
money is,
well,
that would
I
be
think
something.
the more
Yeah.
we can inform the community, the better, because so many
Yes.
people have no idea
No.
of what goes on.
When you talk to the teachers at the school, they talk about their kids who know more about getting on a computer than their parents will ever know.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
And you know, we spent all this money on US One for this underground, trying to make it better and better. We definitely need to keep going with that vision, you know, making it better and better. You know, the poles and all that, I think that's.
I agree. Jumping back to Syria, and I don't know if we can do this with that fund, we have to come up with it. But the bridge, the murals that we have done around town,
Yes,
we need to touch them up.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're,
We have the anti-graffiti seal that we put on it.
you know, some of them are like jacked up, some of them have like bicycle scrapes down them and stuff. And
Yeah.
And they're
We have to hire her
very
to come back and
Redo
touch
them.
them.
artsy kind of things too. Yeah, some of them I don't even get.
You could put them at the bus stops on US One. Put concrete decorative boulders there, I don't know, but, you know, whatever, and make it arty.
All right, so here-
Artsy. At your bus, you know, and all that.
all right, we got
I
like
think
we
you
got
need to
5
get rid
minutes.
of the hutches.
Okay.
I think they're creating a problem.
One other idea that has floated around, and I don't know why I didn't write these all down, but they're coming back to me now. This was a John Danio thing. In the CRA, Dothan, Alabama is what he picked. Dothan, Alabama is the peanut capital of the world.
Yes, it is.
And they have little peanut people
Yeah.
around town. If you go to Ormond, they have the people that look like real people, they're kissing and holding their children and stuff. And there was some discussion about doing pickleball rackets or pickleballs around the city, having them as Instagram opportunities to take pictures and so forth. So I don't know if there's any traction with that, but that was a John Daniel legacy
Yeah,
thing that
Well,
never
the ones
came
in
around.
Ormond are incredibly expensive.
No, those are on loan. Those are just
They're-
on
You're
loan.
right, they are,
But,
they're
but
in
if
Birmingham
we,
right
yeah, but if
now.
we were to get Bob's Space Racers to make
Yes,
fiberglass
whack-a-mole.
pickleballs. No,
Yeah.
I'm just, and that kind of ties us to the Pictona thing, but we
Yeah.
are known worldwide now for Pictona. And if there was any merit to that or any interest to that, to put them around in front of businesses,
Yeah.
as a business owner, I want one in front of my business. I want you to come take a
Absolutely.
picture and come in and eat a hamburger if I own a hamburger store.
Yeah.
So,
We did those in Atlanta in Buckhead. We
Yeah.
did bucks, the heads of bucks, and there were 85 businesses who said.
I mean, when you go
"We'll take 'em."
to some
Yeah.
cities, they'll have, where was I? Clearwater. They had dolphins everywhere, and they had artists paint
Yeah.
the dolphins. And I'm not saying just have a yellow pickleball. I'm saying have a pickleball and an artist paints it and it looks like the globe, or an artist paints it and it looks like the moon, or an artist paints it and it looks like Mickey Mouse.
It's a
You know,
great idea.
things like
I
that.
don't think we can get away with making up stuff.
Okay,
That's a great idea.
All right?
wait, before we end, I just want to make sure, speed humps are a yes, right?
Yep, I got everything out of here.
Well, we're gonna do the tester on Alabama.
Right,
Yeah.
and then,
Anything
stanchion.
on this list I've got covered.
Okay.
I want to say something real quick. I did have a refocus on this speed bump after watching some educational stuff. Not totally. I just want you to know.
We'll still do the test.
I'm not as gun-ho.
Did you spill your coffee when you went over?
No.
Yeah.